Greetings, I'm Rob Chapman.
And I am the captain.
You may be surprised to know. And we're at Andertons.co.uk
We certainly are.
demonstrating these Tone King Majesty amplifiers.
Tone King. Now, I should first say, for you eagle-eyed people watching this, we have what's called the Majesty. These are the very, very first run of these beautiful amplifiers. And I think almost as fast as these came off the first run, somebody wrote them a letter and said, you can't call these Majesties, you have to call them something else. Actually, they're now called Royalists, but we've got Majesties. So I suspect the Majesty ones might even be slightly collectible, but you'll only get one of these if you buy one of the very, 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 very first ones. Basically, whether you see one called a Majesty or a Royalist, it's the same tang.
We did something a bit different today with these amplifiers. We played them first and spoke about them now after we played about them previously. So we actually know what they sound like.
We do. So, Tone King, one of my favourite amp designers in America, has about 20 years of amp building experience where most of the amps that he's built have been Fender clones. So things like the Imperial, the Metro, the Galaxy, the Sky King, all very American classic Fendery sounding amps.
Stormtrooper.
The Stormtrooper, that's one of his lesser known ones. So I love the look, I love the grill cloth, I love the way they've done the sort of the curved bit here, I love the knobs. It's all very sort of, you know, Marshall, JTM, blues breakery kind of era.
But they've got an amazing thing built, haven't they?
Well, tonally speaking, it does everything really from that kind of vintagey Marshall through to, well, I suppose it's all vintage Marshall, isn't it? But it's got a bit more raw than something like a blues breaker would have. It'll go a bit plexy if you want it to.
Ooh.
So very, very simple set of controls. Presence, bass, mid-range, treble, volume. Let me just give you the quick... Oh, why have we got two amps, of course? I've got a 45 watt
I got a 15 watter.
All the same controls. The big difference is Rob's is EL84 powered. Mine is EL34 powered. If you want to, you can switch out the 34s in here for 6L6s. Don't know what it'll sound like. Less British, I suspect. What have you done?
I just unplugged my guitar with my foot.
Oh, with your foot. It's a hell of a technique. We'll do another video on that.
So a friend of mine called Alex from Faith Guitars said that they've got these cables in recently that have coil here and then they're straight.
Yeah.
And it's like a safety mechanism built in so you can step on it and it goes barrel.
But what if you want to pull the cable out with your foot, like you obviously just
You just can't do it. It's in there forever.
Useless then,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's stuck.
Now, what I love, probably one of my favourite Tone King inventions is their power attenuator. It's called the Iron Man. Historically, I'm really not an attenuator fan. I suppose I remember the old Marshall PB100, which was quite a big clumpy thing, and it just seemed to, it reduced the volume, but it just seemed to suck all the life and tone out of the sound of the amplifier to get it quieter.
Well, while we were miking up, I said to Rabia, oh no, it's another attenuating amplifier, it's going to suck the tone.
Yes.
and it doesn't suck the tone.
No, the Iron Man, it's quite an expensive device. If you just want to buy the Iron Man on its own, it's about £800. I don't know what it is in dollars, probably a bit cheaper in the States because that's where they're made. But anyway, it's expensive for an attenuator. But it's about the only one I've ever used where I'm like, this genuinely sounds like a loud amp, but quieter.
Shall I show them some tones gradually adding more attenuation?
Yeah, we might get away with it a bit more on the 15.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If I have the volume halfway up. So this is the 15 watt Mark 1 with no attenuation at all, and the volume pretty much where I want it to get a crunch sound when it's attenuated.
Yeah, bear in mind, of course, there's no such thing as gain and volume on this.
Yes.
The gain comes from turning the amp up or using a pedal.
Yes, but the interesting thing is with the volume set where it is, as I add more attenuation, you get more gain. So here is the sound, and this is very loud and crippling, and I'm sorry, Lee.
That's no pedals. That's just into the amp. Actually, in fairness, what that would be gigging volume. If you just use the guitar to clean up, because that's how essentially you.
It's great.
Nice.
So here's one click of attenuation.
Yeah.
And a little bit more crunch.
Another click.
Here's another click of attenuation. One more click of attenuation. You get the idea. One more click of attenuation. I knew a couple of guys that did that pretty well.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
And that's almost bedroomy volume now, isn't it?
Yes.
Certainly. And is that maximum attenuation?
Oh no, there's one more.
One more.
And then there's one more.
No, there's no more. In real terms, this is apparently a 36 dB reduction in volume. So really good. And I think you'll agree. In fact, just put it on the second to last one, the -24 one.
Okay.
And just play something a bit extended, because I think it sounds great, you know.
Sounds immense if I add a bit more of that and
You
do
think
a
so?
bit of, yeah.
I thought it sounded good where it was.
No, it's just without the, because I've got a spark on the floor, but I'm not using it.
Okay.
But just to show people the kind of dirt you
All
can
right.
get from it with single coils. Didn't think you could pick squeal
That sounds great.
on an M-type Tone King.
just so you know, as a sort of a reference, let's just get my tone. My tone's much the same as Rob's on here, a little bit less gain. Again, my attenuator is, I won't turn it all the way up, but again, that's its minimum mode. And I think that's a great sound at really low volume. And then a little bit more up, so more.
Sounds amazing. And obviously, if you add humbuckers, if you could hold this for me.
I will, yes.
I'm going to use an SG, something that I seldom do, and people tell me I should do more of. If you add humbuckers and you back off that, but add some of that and a bit of the more reverb, you get Metallica.
You don't get Metallica.
You don't get it. You get a scorching lead sound.
What attenuation are you on there?
All I'm on is the one before last,
okay.
and just over half the volume, and a little bit of spark, which is more of a boost than an overdrive.
Put it on, but just go up one notch on the attenuator, so it's one bit louder. That's
okay.
it. I think that's the.
That's what happens if you play one of these Tone Kings, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It seems somehow I've inherited another guitar.
Well, you do own a guitar store, so I mean,
That's
it's only
very
natural
true.
that you would only natural.
It's only natural.
But you'd have 3 guitars, and you got a SG, a Telly, and a Strat. It's almost
the Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity, yeah.
So what else is new and exciting about these Tone King amplifiers? Well, you can go and read the spec on the Andertons website because it's all there, along with some stunning high-res images of these amplifiers as well. I love the fact that they have a tube-buffered effects loop on each one as well, which is why you're hearing some reverb through these, because there's no reverb built into the amps. We're using TC Hall of Fame reverb pedals.
Thank you, TC.
And we're using the TC Spark as well, as we often do, to just take amps that need a little bit of je ne sais quoi into the front end, and just that's what it provides. But other than that, it is what it is.
It's great, that's what it is, Lee.
Eminence speaker, but interestingly, an Eminence speaker that they've worked with Eminence to custom design a vintage Celestion speaker. So begs the question, why not just use
a vintage
Celestion speaker? But I'm guessing those clever chaps at Tone King know
what they're
why.
doing. You know what?
But that's why, that's what's in these.
Do you know why they know? Because they're the Tone Kings.
They are the Tone Kings.
Well, the Louis is also the Tone King.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's a different Tone King.
Louis versus
Louis.
Mark. Fight!
My money's on Louis.
Yeah, probably. Sorry, Mark.
Anyway, I'm Rob Chapman.
And I am the captain